Howdy, welcome back to the channel. So we're going to work on this today. This is a Jasper. I'm doing this for somebody. And they had taken this to a shop, and what they basically did, they put a clear coat on there. And, well, it looks weird. I mean, it does its job, but it's just, it doesn't have that all-natural feeling that we all want. So we're going to grind this down, and we're going to, pretty much level this out. We're going to round the edges, and then we're going to polish it to a natural state and not use any kind of varnishes on this thing. First things first, I took off any jewelry just so I don't damage any kind of rings or stones on the wheels that I'm using here. And I'm going to work in one singular direction here. Going to grind down, get rid of all the high spots and make everything nice and level. It's not going to be super flat. I'm going to still have a nice curve to it and then kind of curve the edges. And we're going to start with a 80 grit and then go up from there. .80 grit is done. Up next is 180 grit. That'll be used for further kind of smoothing out the edges and getting rid of the deep scratches from the 80 grit stage. So yeah, let's go ahead and go do that. The next step is going to be using the 100 grit expando wheel, and this is just an expandable drum on a Diamond Pacific agate unit. And it is a wet, dry sandpaper, but we're going to be using water. It keeps down dust, protects our lungs, and keeps the rock from getting too hot. So we'll go ahead and get rid of the deep scratches here, and from there go on to the next step. Alright, so this is a relatively new belt, and it's great to get rid of scratches pretty easily. The only downside is it's good for flat surfaces for a time being before the belt gets worn down, and then it's better for more edges and like curves. So pretty quickly it knocked down the center here. Nothing I could do about all the little tumbling marks from when the stone was being tumbled in the river. So it got rid of all the deep scratches there. The downside is, since it's a new belt, like I said, if you're running the belt on a curved or pointed surface, it's going to cause like little, what I like to call impact marks. And that is where it gets too hot. And the abrasive, like, it gets too hot and it causes little marks to happen. So with the edges, I'm not going to worry about too much of the edges on this machine. I'll worry about the edges on the cabbing machine, where the belts are a little bit more worn and they're not going to be as aggressive on the edges. So just for the nice big flat surface, we're going to be using this right here to kind of get that tuned in before we go on to the cabbing machine. So I'll keep working, I'll get this top area, and then from there we'll go on. Alright. So, like I said, this particular sanding wheel is not good for the edges right now. You can see all the little impact marks right there, and we got a few here in the bottom and a few here on this side, but that's not a big deal. The next wheel that we'll be going to should get those all out. This next wheel, this is a 140 grit Nova wheel by Diamond Pacific. This is going to be used to get out all the impact marks all around the edges. I'm not so much worried about the center of the stone right now. This is to get out all the deep marks from the previous stage that left all those marks. So this shouldn't take too long at all. This is all done. I'm very happy with that result. I went ahead and went over the this surface here with the wheel as well. And that is looking a lot better from what it was. Again, there's not much I can do about the impact marks. I mean, there is if I were to cut the stone and then sand it down, but the customer wanted us to ground down, which I'm fine with. I like working with the natural shape of the stone, and this is such a beautiful type of material. Now, look at this. Get some water on my thumb here. Zoom in. Look at that. That's so pretty. But the next step in line is to take it to the 280 grit Nova wheel and sand it again and rinse and repeat until we get to the polishing stage. So let's go ahead and get to work.